It's going to be 6 years since the last Star Wars movie, unfortunately.
Is it going to be even longer now?
It is going to be quite some time. First off, though, let's lay down the foundation. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And hey, this is a clip from the full episode, so make sure to check that out in the description or on this channel. Now, back to the clip. Throughout the past, probably decade, decade, because 2012 is when Disney bought Lucasfilm.
Yep.
Also, they bought them for $4 billion. That seems like a very low amount of money when you talk about like acquisitions now.
Yeah.
But all that aside, we had The Force Awakens, which was huge. It broke the box office. It was massive. Then we got Rogue One. Then we got The Last Jedi, also broke records and continued the story of Star Wars. Then 6 months later, we got Solo. And then we got The Rise of Skywalker. Alongside all of this, we had the rise of the Disney Plus era, where we have The Mandalorian, we have the Book of Boba Fett, we have Obi-Wan Kenobi, we have all these different pieces and TV shows, everything, the expansion of the books, the cleaning of the slate, everything, the video games, all of it. And then it stopped. But before it stopped, they announced like a crap ton of projects. We're gonna get a Lando show, we're gonna get this Star Wars movie, we're gonna get this Star Wars movie, and then an amount of time passes, and then they say, oh, look at this, we've got 6 untitled Star Wars movies, and this is when we're going to expect them. Then an increasing amount of time passed, and then they said, oh, wait, you know these Star Wars movies we announced? Well, they're not gonna happen. They're all canceled.
Yeah.
Except for this one and this one and this one. Also, we announced 3 more, but we can't do them because they're super busy.
Yeah.
Okay. Also, hey, Bob Iger's back, and he's canceling even more Star Wars projects.
Is this franchise cursed?
It seems like it might be.
What is going on? I need answers. I need like something solid to just put my teeth on, because I can't keep doing this to me.
I know, right? Well, we do have some answers, at least in terms of the thinking behind it. Bob Iger said this recently, quote, Star Wars, we made 3 what we call saga films, which is obviously the successors to George Lucas's first 6. They did very well at the box office, tremendously well, as a matter of fact. We've made 2 so-called standalones in Rogue One and Solo. Rogue One did quite well. Solo was a little disappointing to us. Gave us pause just to think maybe the cadence was a little too aggressive, and so we decided to pull back a bit. We still are developing Star Wars films. We're going to make sure that when we make one, that it's the right one. So we are being very careful there. This is the behind the curtains look at what Lucasfilm and Disney are thinking when it comes to Star Wars. They've realized it's massive with the rise of Disney Plus. One of the main reasons that Disney Plus has so many subscribers is because of Star Wars.
It's true.
Mando was a cultural movement. Grogu is
a cultural icon.
Yes.
Yeah.
So they definitely have reason to be careful with it, because a missed Star Wars project, while still successful, could damage the brand, and they want to continue making Star Wars movies and having them be successful.
Okay, but that's all well and good, but why keep telling us these things? Like, why keep sharing? Oh my gosh, we're gonna have this, and we're gonna have this, and we're gonna have this, and then, oh, sorry, that fell through, and that did too, and we've got this lawsuit going on this one, and like, so sorry, guys. But how about this and this and that? Like, I feel like
guys, we're
just
still making Star Wars projects.
I know.
Like,
I feel like they're just throwing stuff at us and seeing what sticks. Like, but that's not how this works, guys.
Yeah.
Let's get it together.
Decide internally
Yeah.
what you're going to do, and then
Do it.
And also vet whether or not the director, 1, has time before you approach them and announce their project. 2, is it someone that you can work with? 3, don't release them very close to each other. And 4, keep on making Mando.
Yeah, please.
But I mean, that's the thing. Like, Solo was very disappointing to us, obviously, from a sales perspective, for sure. And it's all of their fault because, 1, they did a terrible job with choosing the directors. I don't think the directors themselves had an issue, but they micromanaged them so hardcore that they're like, we're done. We're not doing this anymore.
Right.
So 80% of the project, they had to get Ron Howard to take over, do a bunch of reshoots. Disney did not give them enough time to get the reshoots that they all wanted to do. And therefore we have Solo, which I still enjoy. It's still a great time.
Yeah.
I love it way more than The Rise of Skywalker. But in terms of like the amount of strife behind the scenes, Lucasfilm is terrible. They have a terrible track record.
And I'm sure that puts a lot of stress on the people who are coming into these projects being like, okay, but we all know what we're getting ourselves into.
And also the projects themselves. Because you go in, they announce your project like immediately as soon as they have lunch with you. They're like,
"You're making a Star Wars thing? Great!"
We don't have a contract. We don't have a timeline. We don't have
Yeah.
anything. Let's announce it. No, don't do that.
Give what the people want. It's like, hang on.
Stop it.
Stop it. Get some help.
I appreciate that they're at least saying that they want to make the best that they possibly can.
It is appreciated.
Yeah.
Because that's what we want. We don't want a Marvel situation with Star Wars. We don't want a movie every 3 months.
No.
That does not work with Star Wars. No. Star Wars was historically like an every 3 or 4 year thing. And then there was a span of a decade. And then there were more Star Wars movies within the span of like 2 years of each other. And then there's a span of a decade. And then there's more Star Wars movies about 2 years from each other. That's what we expect as fans.
Yeah.
It's not Marvel, which has been spitting out 2 movies a year since it started and now does like 3 or 4. So no, calm down on the cadence. Keep on making the shows. Those are great in between filler stuff of like, okay, we've got Star Wars, we're continuing to get Star Wars, but the big box office stuff, that's on the movies and you have to make those an event.